Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ufama and I'm an older first-time mum. I have a 6-month-old baby called AJ and I use this channel to talk about all the stuff related to him. My journey to becoming pregnant with him, the pregnancy itself and life since I've given birth. Which has involved lots of shopping. I like to share some of my buys and finds with you on here, and it's also involved lots and lots of research. I'm sure many of you will be the same on Google every night, researching one thing or another. There's a wealth of information about getting pregnant, being pregnant, and babies obviously online as well. So I like to share some of the things that I have found interesting and useful, and I really believe knowledge is power, so I hope to be able to give some of that power to you guys watching. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about supplements, and specifically supplements related to fertility and baby's development and baby's brain development as well. So if we kind of start at the very beginning, for me, the beginning often involves doing a bit of research, a bit of reading. There's a couple of books that I mention a lot in my videos, and I'm a real fan of this author. Her name is Rebecca Fett, and the first book of hers that I read was called It Starts with the Egg, and that literally, as you would imagine, talks about everything that you can do to boost the health of your eggs as a woman, and also the health of the male sperm. So It Starts with the Egg has a lot of information on different types of supplements you can take depending on what your fertility story challenge might be. For myself, I've mentioned that I am an older first-time mum. I got pregnant with AJ at the age of 40, having been diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis, so the most severe level of endometriosis, which is a condition that affects the lining of your womb often, and your uterus, and other parts of your reproductive system. So I looked up the supplements that were good for that condition and also for older women. Now, I'm always in these videos stressing that this is my personal experience, things that I researched myself, discussions that I had with doctors whose care I was under. I'm not advising that you just go out and buy everything that I mention in this video without seeking proper medical advice. I'm lucky enough to have a gynecologist as an older sister, so I would often run stuff past her and she would kind of reply with links to medical publications and documents that she'd found on the topic and give me her opinion, as well as speaking to my fertility specialists and GP. So I would urge you to do the same. But as I said, I will talk about some things here. So one of the things that we'll all be familiar with is something called folic acid, which all women who are looking to get pregnant or are pregnant are advised to take. It's actually really important to take it pre-conception even, and from the earliest stages of the pregnancy, once you're aware that you are pregnant. Now, folic acid is actually a synthetic form of something called folate, which is found naturally in, I think, dark leafy greens, and red meat perhaps has folate in it as well. But you're best off getting the natural form in a pill as well. So Pregnacare, for example, unfortunately has the synthetic folic acid in it. But I used a brand called NATURELO. Now this is actually the postnatal version of it rather than the prenatal. Back when I was taking prenatals and some of the fertility supplements, I didn't know I was going to be doing these videos, and I wish I'd just kept all the empty bottles, and believe me, there were a lot of empty bottles. But yeah, just this, I'm just showing you this so that you've got an idea of the brand name, NATURELO. You can get that on Amazon, you can get it on the NATURELO website, and you can also get it on a site called iHerb. So they have the prenatal with natural folate in it. This happens to be the postnatal, which is for breastfeeding mothers. So that's a basic folate or folic acid. The second thing that's really, really important is vitamin D. Now there's been a few studies done on this, and deficiencies in vitamin D have often been linked to early miscarriages and losses and things like that. So it's really, really important to make sure that your vitamin D levels are optimum. In the UK, most of us, especially black women, but most of the population is deficient in vitamin D. So, but if you're a darker skin complexion, black or Asian, then you're advised to take a daily vitamin D supplement. Now, normal vitamin D levels, as in when I say normal, just what you're expected to have on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to for fertility reasons, is actually much lower. For fertility reasons, you're advised to have much higher levels of vitamin D, which means that taking the max strength, even that's sold in Boots, probably isn't really going to be enough. For me, I started taking a very high strength, so that's a 3,000 strength there. I think you can get 4,000. I was a bit concerned, obviously, about taking high levels without them being prescribed, but I did speak to a pharmacist and they said that it was absolutely fine. It's actually very difficult to kind of OD on vitamin D. So vitamin D is crucial. Another thing that's really, really important is omega-3. Now, that's like omega-3 is fish oils. If you go into Boots nowadays, they've kind of color-coded all of their vitamins, which is not a new thing, but as well as that now they have a word basically describing what its main benefit or purpose is, and omega-3 says brain on the top. So it's good for your brain as an adult to take it, but it's crucial. It's a crucial building block for the baby's brain development as well. Now the book, it starts with the egg, stresses that you should take a version of omega-3 that has EPA and DHA in it, and it just so happens that the Boots version lists that on the bottle, so I wasn't needing to kind of go and scour the internet looking for something else. I've just stuck with the Boots version. And then something else which I don't believe you will find in Boots, but you can get in Holland and Barrett, for example, is a supplement called coenzyme Q10 or ubiquinol, which is the more active version of it. And this is something that basically was described in the book as giving a kind of super boost to the energy making bits of your cells. So as an older woman, if you can imagine, your cell reproduction, I think, is basically just a bit slower and a bit more sluggish, and that can impact obviously the quality of your eggs. And once an embryo is formed, when the sperm meets the egg, the division of the cells in that embryo might not be as kind of active as in a younger woman. So coenzyme Q10 or ubiquinol, its more active form, kind of give your cellular energy a boost, basically. That's the way it was described in the book. And my fertility consultant advised that I took the coenzyme Q10 supplement, and then later on I kind of ramped it up using ubiquinol. As I said, please consult a doctor, a medical professional, before you start taking all of these things. Make sure they're not contraindicated with any other medications you might be on or any conditions that you might have. So those were the major things to take whilst trying to get pregnant and when pregnant. Another important element actually is this idea of antioxidants, which are also important for your cellular health and the early stages of your embryo's development. So again, when I was trying to get pregnant, I was taking vitamin E, which is quite a good antioxidant, I believe. So that's the stuff that I was taking. There was some other supplements recommended in the book, which are not so easy to get hold of in the UK due to them being regulated differently here as opposed to in the US. But it is possible to get access to them. I believe you can get prescriptions for those that you can't buy over the counter as well. So it's things like melatonin, DHEA, and some other things. Some of them are available online, but as I said, you're best off consulting a medical professional before you take those, and perhaps getting your bloods taken and levels checked as well before you take some of them. Now my husband was also taking lots of supplements. I'm really pleased that he did, because I've read some really kind of heartbreaking accounts of women struggling to get their husbands to take anything, because most men think that if, as long as they've got sperm, they're good to go. But there's no harm, I don't believe, in doing everything you can to enhance the quality of that sperm, in the hope that it will help conception happen faster. So my husband, bless him, was really, really good about taking any and everything that I asked him to. And he, as well as some of the things I've already mentioned, vitamin C, I was advised, was really important for sperm health. We were taking vitamin C and zinc. Obviously it's good for everyone's immune system, so I was taking it as well. And he was also taking a male multivitamin as well. It wasn't Wellman, but you could take that. It was something else recommended in the book. It starts with the egg. So moving on from conception and to what I'm taking now that AJ has arrived. As I mentioned earlier, I'm taking a postnatal supplement. So everyone's advised to make that switch from prenatal to postnatal. Once the baby's arrived, it's got some vitamins to help with breastfeeding. And then for AJ himself, I mentioned omega-3 being really important for baby brain development. I've actually got him a baby version of it, some drops with vitamin D in it as well. That's by a company called California Gold. Vitamin D is advised for all babies who are exclusively breastfed. If you're formula feeding, then those formulas are usually fortified with enough of all the necessary vitamins. So I give AJ the omega-3, vitamin D, and also another multivitamin drop called Abidec, as advised by my mum. So yeah, that is just about it. There's more information on what supplements to give babies in a follow-on book from It Starts With The Egg called Baby Brain Health. And that's all around nurturing the health of your baby's brain during pregnancy, so from conception throughout your pregnancy and in the first year of baby's life. So I would recommend that you take a look at both of those books by Rebecca Fett. I will link to them in the description box down below, and I'll also kind of list some of the supplements that I mentioned I've taken and where I get them from. So thanks very much for watching. As always, please like this video, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, so that way you'll get notified of my next videos, and also drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this video, and if there's any more information that you would like me to share, or any other videos you would like me to produce. Thanks for watching this time. Take care and see you next time. Bye.